I have felt alienated from mainstream media spaces.
Not many black characters in your favourite films, favourite TV shows.
The representation of black males in media is a mess.
Whenever they come on screen, you're like slyly rooting for them.
You could say in a way that me and mainstream media have beef.
And then they get killed or something, or...
It's a mess, man.
Creating this platform has made me feel a lot more confident in my place in the media industry, because it kind of is an example that we can create our own place in the mainstream if we really want to.
I'm Bakai Winter, I'm 22 years old, and I'm a writer / entertainer.
My name is Olu, I'm 20 years old, I study photography.
My name's Kane Taylor Lewin Turner, I'm 21 years old. I'm also an independent researcher of black masculinity.
My name is Elias, I'm 22 years old, and I'm a filmmaker. Mandem is an online platform for young men of colour to express themselves. I was inspired by things like SBTV and Link Up TV, and like in a lot of ways they are giving a platform for young men of colour, particularly in music. While developing the platform, I wanted to do a series of interviews with a few artists. It was very interesting to speak to people like Cosmo Pike and Koji Radical, who are kind of a little bit alternative in their style. Koji Radical, he is one of the only artists I've heard shout out Mansa Musa on a track. He was a 14th century emperor of the Kingdom of Mali. He's like the tip of the iceberg of what we don't know about African history. He's like a really interesting figure to go to, and he was also probably one of the first African emperors to appear on a European map. I think it's important for like young black males who think their history is kind of solely slavery based. It's important to know that actually there were kingdoms in Africa and kings who had a lot of wealth. That is why he is on our logo and why I thought he would be a good symbol to represent the movement.
And then we've got Vince, who's just generally a don. He's probably like the most articulate man I've ever met. And he understands media subliminals better than anyone I know. And he works in transmedia and supports young artists as well.
I was just backing it from the very get-go. You know, I was glad that somebody, you know, wanted to embody in themselves and take it upon themselves to say, okay, we need this platform. Especially for like black males in the media, it's like one of the things that you just feel intrinsically that you're always stepping into somebody else's media whenever you're doing it. I've been in mainstream media. I felt that hand, I felt that grip. I've been in those circumstances and been told, you can't do that, that's a bit too black, our audience is 80% white.
With the amount of equal representation in comedy exclusively, it's no secret that it is a very, not just whitewash, but white males as well, exclusively.
You ain't gotta be a motherfucking detective to know what I'm about to say you. This ain't no multiple choice question.
By me uploading, say, a comedy video or contributing my comedy content to Mandem, we are automatically together making general progress to a more equally represented comedy scene. Because if we rely entirely on the support of, I guess, you know, the people who typically dominate this sector, we are effectively limiting ourselves.
You know it's hard out here for a young black male. Hence why we resort to tell the tales of the inner city living and the smells. Senses, touch, vision, and all it entails.
In this country, we have to put it into context because we are a minority, and as a result of that, our representation in these spaces is a minority. And that's fine, which is why it's cool that there are platforms like Mandem that might not be a physical art house or like a gallery, but somewhere I can go. I haven't come across any other platforms that sort of support minorities in the same way. the actual events where discussions are held and it's real people sort of engaging with these issues and topics, that's when people can really take something home because they've been involved.
Maybe we should focus on the things that we share in common rather than the things that we differ in. Because we'll actually find that, whoa, there's so much more that we have in common than these little things that we do differ on.
There is some solidarity needed. And part of that is, as I say, building bridges, because we're not a homogenous block. We're the majority, but we're also not, not a homogenous block. And the only way you can do that is to start looking into other cultures.
Thank you for all coming to the event. Chat to one another if you want to.
I saw a picture of Mansa Musa, and to me that is a pretty good sign that that organisation, society, whatever, knows what they're talking about. Mandem gives us a space to do what we do as artists. If we're writers, filmmakers, photographers, it gives us a space where we can be judged on our work, not the colour of our skin. That barrier is broken down. We can create masculinity how we want it to be. We don't have to be hyper-masculine, we don't have to be aggressive in a way of our mannerisms and our artistic prowess. We can just be ourselves. So I think that's the most important thing, allowing to create our own space and allowing to be who we are instead of being a stereotype.
No! The world must be people's!
Recording. It's pretty amazing because like we've basically done what we've done with no money, and I think that is just a really good indicator for the future, because it means if we ever did get funding, we could do like amazing things.
It's a very positive thing. I think that it's got all the elements of what could be very popular. The biggest impact that Mandem is having is on the young people. We're having the discussions that we're having, but then the young people are listening.
I hope it's utilized in the future. I don't think there's a replacement for Mandem that currently exists. I think it's something that we all need. Not just men of color, but everyone needs.
In sort of our localized area of influence, I think it can make a big difference. So I'm excited, man, because it's only upwards and onwards from here, I think.
I just hope Mandem can just grow bigger and bigger, and I hope that it can encompass the whole of the UK and it can kind of give many young people of colour a chance to write, film, photograph and be themselves.
Mandem is gang.